All right, I guess we're live here with our first. Do you call this a podcast or a video pod or what's it called?
I think you can call it whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
Yeah.
All right.
Just make something up.
Yeah.
A vlog. How about a vlog?
I like that.
All right,
Yeah.
vlog. So we've got the Driver Appreciation Week going on, and we've also got our first sort of podcast here that we're doing, and we'll be doing this every day during Driver Appreciation Week. And we did a podcast with Bianca here on Friday, and we also announced that going forward, we're going to keep this going every Friday. And of course, the main purpose of this is really to communicate to our drivers out there that we want to start off by saying thank you for everything that you do. It's very much appreciated. We've got Driver Appreciation this week, and every time we have Driver Appreciation Week, I always feel like, this should be every week, Driver Appreciation Week. But we want to thank all of you for all of your hard work and dedication out there. And we had a lot of things planned for this week. And before we do that, I've got several other people with us here today. And so I'll just sort of introduce folks, and I'll start on my far left here. We've got Dan Wallace, the president of Over the Road. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Brad. Thank you.
Good to have you, Dano. And we've got Chris Schmidt, president of the Dedicated Group.
What's up, everyone?
Hey. And this cool mic thing I can turn. And so to my right is Jelaine, my wife.
The
Hello.
boss is boss.
The
Coming
boss.
up on 29 years in October,
Wow.
so yeah. Ups and downs. Long road.
Yeah, well,
Long road.
just like trucking, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's you got your ups
You
and
take
downs.
the good with the bad,
Hopefully
and try to
we-
remember the good.
All right, well, that's enough of that. Yeah,
Next subject, please.
Yeah, geez, who invited you? And then we've got Jesse Burnett. So Jesse's our Chief People Officer. Hey, Jess.
Hi. Hey, guys. I feel like we should all have nicknames. So you've got the boss is boss.
Yep.
I can take lead on picking nicknames if you guys want.
I don't think you should be in charge of
No,
that.
that's
I
not
have
good.
nicknames and I have pictures to go along with them. So
She's already got it queued up.
Yeah, Jesse's got job security. She's got like pictures on everyone. So
That's for sure.
And she
Yeah,
can
I'll
access the. Oh dear! Don't access them right now.
we're just checking quantities. There's
Okay.
17,000 on my phone right now.
wow, that's a lot of storage space.
There's one just
I
called
think
Hirschback.
I think you have your own cloud.
Yeah,
for
she's
all
got
the
the
storage.
terabyte.
Oh, I do.
She's got the terabyte package.
Thanks to our wonderful IT, had to show me how.
Before we get into it, we're sitting here at this cool, this production set or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what to call it. Actually, we designed this after ESPN Game Day. So, they got like 4 or 5 people huddled around. And, the thought behind this is, I was, again, this is a way of communicating. And, last year I started really communicating on a daily basis with safety updates and so forth. And, that kind of ran its course a little bit. And now this is feeling good. This is, we're going to be bringing lots of people on to talk about lots of different subjects. Today is going to be kind of an introduction on what's going on with Driver Appreciation Week. We're going to talk in some detail about that. I know on Wednesday we've got Nick Forte is going to be here. We also expect to have a pilot Freightliner truck that'll be brought up here. And by pilot, they make one before they make many. And so we'll have that truck up here. And we'll probably be doing walking around that truck for people that aren't able to be here in Dubuque to be able to see the new Freightliner. And we've got a ton of those coming in this week. We've got a lot of people that I know are looking forward to the new Freightliners. They'll start coming in October. And basically, there'll be a flood of them coming in over the next couple years. But we've got a waiting list, I know. Chris, you got a long list on your team and the
Yeah.
Dedicated, right?
Yes, we do.
Dano, you got a few?
That's for sure.
So one of the things we're going to do is some of you on that list, we're going to sort of do some sort of raffle, if you will, on a daily basis. And have some of you sort of buck the line, if you will, and get the first Freightliners that come in here in October. So that's one of the things we'll be doing here this week. But I'm going to turn it over to Jesse. Jesse really and Bianca have really and their team have put together a really great driver appreciation week. I know it's really challenging. It's a little bit more challenging with COVID and so forth. We can't do everything that we had normally done in the past, but I'm really excited. I think they've done a great job, put together a good program. Jess, you want to?
Yeah, actually, I can't take any credit for it. The team's been amazing, a collaboration of many different people. Sarah, HR team, wellness team, and Bianca, who's behind us, sitting over here in the corner, really put a lot of thought into this, trying to figure out, during COVID, we're trying to find out how can we still celebrate the drivers? How can we still make sure that we're doing giveaways and prizes? So in every location, we do have food trucks and food available every day, Monday through Friday, and we wanted to get the communication out to the drivers as well. And so one of the things we did this year is we sent a text message to all of our drivers' active phones that we can find in the system, along with all of the emails that we have. On there, that form, every day you can go back to it, and it will show you what the new events are for that day. So for today, all of our lunch are sponsored by Computer Atlanta. I think at our webpage is sponsored by Cordell. But you can sign up every day either from that link to get one of the grand prizes. I think there's about 20 different prizes given away. And also you can go to Facebook and look at the prizes. But if you have not received the link yet, just let me know. But you should either check your email or go to Facebook or check your text messages. But the link is right on there. But all of the events, every location, we've got stuff going on. Here, of course, Denton, Texas, Monmouth. We've actually got a recruiting trailer over in Sioux City as well for driver appreciation. We've got some stuff in Springfield, Massachusetts. And then the dedicated, it's going to run for about 2 weeks long. Chris, if you want to maybe touch on that just a little bit, what that schedule looks like for the dedicated places.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we just started this, I think we did it last year, and we started it the year before. So this is kind of our second full year doing it. We wanted to make sure, we tried to squeeze it all in 1 week, and we just weren't quite getting out to enough people and thinking the drivers weren't good enough. So we spread out ours out over 2 weeks so that we can get more people out to more of our locations. We're going out to Grand Island, Hurlock, Millsboro, Ashley, Indiana, Greenfield, Indiana, Greencastle, PA. I saw we're on our way up to Little Chute, Wisconsin this morning, Beaver Dam, Kentucky, and then Howard City, Michigan. So that gets the majority of our fleets, and all the dedicated drivers should have gotten a message from their dispatcher kind of saying, which one is the closest to them and how we can get to them and how they can get there and hear us say thanks.
And they're having lunch at those locations too. Great.
Yep, we got lunches, we'll have the giveaways, we'll have we'll have the goodie bags, the t-shirts and everything. So
yeah, and we do have bags for all the drivers along with the t-shirts, and those are in all the locations right now. So if you don't have yours yet, if you can swing by and pick one up, we've got them over here in East Dubuque behind the HR team. I think, Chris, your locations have them all as well, and then all of the other locations have both the bags and the t-shirts. We are giving away, I know we're giving away today, it's 5 die-cast trucks, the Hirschbach trucks and trailers. So there's 5 of those given away at least, amongst other prizes.
Are those the new ones with the cool graffiti on them?
They are.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I wish I could win one myself.
Yeah. So yeah, the new graffiti on the side of the trailer is also on the die-cast trucks. And I also believe the die-cast truck is a Freightliner now.
It is.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
And we have a carrier unit, I think, on that trailer. So Jelane's got one of the t-shirts.
Here's the
You wanna hold that up?
example of this one for this year. It is unfortunately the year of COVID, so we are acknowledging with the heart all of the essential workers that we represent, and we are obviously very, very proud of the work that the drivers do to get all of the supplies over to everybody and help. I think there's been a new recognition this year of how much we depend on drivers getting supplies to the grocery stores. When shelves are bare, then all of a sudden they see you guys. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we wanted to mention the sponsors that are on the back of the t-shirts. Brad, if you want to mention
Sure,
those.
I can read them here. We've got a couple of great sponsors that are really important vendors and partners in our business. Truck Country and Freightliner, those are the folks that we work with to buy our trucks, our Freightliners. And then Mid-States Utility and Carrier over in Sioux City is where they're based. They're the ones that we buy our utility trailers and in Carrier units from. And so obviously in trucking, the equipment's pretty darn important, that it's reliable, it's safe, it's comfortable. And those are a couple of great vendors that we really enjoy working with. What else is in that goodie bag, Jess?
Oh, there's actually some fun stuff if you want to grab one for us. So one of my favorite things, this may not be the best thing, but it's super fun. So if you're driving on the road and you have, you're eating your food, your healthy food, but you need a dip holder, this goes into your air vent and it's like a dip holder
That's great.
for sriracha or,
Yeah.
barbecue.
Oh, I
Spice it
thought you
up.
were talking like Copenhagen or something
No,
like
no,
that.
no,
You
not
said
that kind of dip.
Okay.
Chicken
Jeez.
nugget dip, dipping sauce,
Dip holder.
dipping sauce.
That's that Copenhagen stuff. I tell you what, I tried it twice in my life, and I think I puked both times.
I'm one for one in the
Why
puking.
would you
list.
try it for the first time? Why go for
I don't know. It's like Jelaine with coffee.
Okay, I do not do Copenhagen. Let's make sure that
Yeah.
there's no confusion.
How did that go with you,
Yeah,
Jolene?
exactly.
She can't handle coffee.
I don't do well. I actually get really kind of sick,
She,
but
yeah.
I really like it though.
No
She
mushrooms,
throws
no
up.
coffee.
She gets dizzy. It's
Can't
it's not
handle
great.
it.
No, but this thing's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is for a little ketchup or sriracha, what have
Dipping
you.
sauce. Not
Okay.
tobacco.
For those carrots.
Although I would think you want to make sure you're stopped when you're not
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to necessarily eat
Just
on the run, but-
convenience. Just
Okay.
convenience.
All right. What else you got here?
So there are.
You got some more
hand
sanitizer. Yeah,
sanitizer.
can't have enough hand sanitizer. Okay.
So a list of all of our sponsors and a thank you card
Okay.
from us.
All right. Very
And then we had some of our people through the office, they hand wrote thank you cards for our
Nice.
drivers. And so they are in these bags as well. It could be anybody from the office. This one actually is from Nick Forte.
Oh, that's really
There's
nice.
random.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Very
we,
cool.
I didn't realize we did that. That's super cool. And so let me. Why don't we just take an opportunity to maybe read the thank you card. During National Driver Appreciation Week, we wanted to take a moment to show our gratitude for the incredible job you do every day. Without your hard work and dedication, our way of life and that of millions of others in this country would grind to a halt. I like to say there'd be a lot of hungry and naked people running around. I just added that. That wasn't in there.
That's
but-
not on the card.
No,
I
it's
was
not
like,
in
I
the
don't
card.
think that was on there, but hey.
This year has provided a great reminder of how vital you are to this country. You keep America moving. So thank you, truck drivers. Thank you for your commitment, your professionalism, for your sacrifices you make, but most important of all, thank you for being you. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. We've got some,
Thank you.
we've got some of our drivers here today. Again, this is going to go on every day here during Driver Appreciation Week at 11 o'clock. So feel free to join us for lunch and listen to the podcast. And if you got some questions or things you want us to talk about, we'll take those from you as well. And then Nick Forte, I don't know if I could read his writing or not, but
You could read like every other word. As
Uh,
every
third
word.
generation.
here, Jess, you're probably better at reading Nick's hieroglyphic writing there for me.
Says third.
As a third generation trucking family, the trials and sacrifices you make, 2020 has been even more challenging with all of the crazy. Thank you for all of the dedication and hard work. You are America's finest. Thank you for being part of the family. Nick Forte.
It's really nice. So again, handwritten notes in each of the goodie bags from different people at Hirschbach. Kind of interesting, Nick's down in Denton today, he and VK, and I'm sure we'll have Nick on Wednesday. Third generation trucking family Nick came from. So, maybe let's take an opportunity to, I know Bianca sort of interviewed me a bit on Friday to talk a little bit about myself. I thought maybe this might be a good opportunity for you to, learn a little bit more about some of the other leaders in the organization and some of their backgrounds and so forth. And so putting people on the spot here a little
Yeah.
bit. They didn't know that was coming, so neither did I. But anyway, Dano, why don't you tell Hirschbach a little bit about yourself.
All right, thanks, Brad. Before I do that, just a big shout out to all our drivers. Unbelievable commitment to Hirschbach this year. In the light of COVID, what we've been able to do is very impressive. So, thank you, sincere thank you. So, well, I have quite a history in the business.
Yeah, how long? Do we got a time limit here?
Yeah.
He's been driving longer than Chris has been, or working for
Right.
trucking longer than Chris has been alive.
I think
Yeah.
he has, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I had my first dispatching job in I think it was March 10th, 1984, Fort Worth, Texas. It's the first load of meat I dispatched. So
You grew up on a farm, didn't you?
yeah, I grew up. So really, how I got hooked on trucking was grew up on a farm in southern Minnesota, ag type farm, and not too far from Waseca, and Waseca had a big bird's eye plant. So when I was 16 years old, my friend and I, his dad was a big farmer, and they had a truck. So we put a truck on at Bird's Eye, and we hauled peas. And so I did that for a couple summers, and that's kind of how I got hooked on it. So started driving when I was 16. Then when I turned 18, like back then it was called, Class A. And so during that time, we were exporting a lot of grain to China and Russia. And so I spent my summers hauling grain from southern Minnesota, northern Iowa up to Mississippi River ports. And that's how I got through college. And once I got done with college, bummed around for about a year, and then I got a dispatching job down in Fort Worth, and been working primarily in the refrigerated transportation ever since. So a little over 36 years, and held many titles over the years: operations, sales, maintenance, safety.
Swami.
Swami.
You owned your own trucking
I had
company,
my own
right?
trucking company for about 10 years. So yeah, I mean, just a vast amount of experience in the industry, and really fast forward here, and been here at Hirschbach about 8 years. Been around for an amazing ride. Was not just seems like almost yesterday when we started, but it was about 8 years ago. We had about 450 trucks, and we haven't looked back since. It's nothing been but going forward. So it's been a heck of a ride. So thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to keep the ride going for sure. And so, yeah, when Dan joined, Dan and I got to know each other through an industry group. Probably, well, we've been together 8 years, so probably known each other maybe 15 years or so, Dan, maybe
Yeah,
more.
that's about right. That's about right.
And yeah, Dan's just done a great job over here, and got hopefully many more years here at Hirschbach. We've when Dan joined with, he said, we're like about 450 drivers. Today we've got nearly 2,000, and as the business has grown, back then, 8 years ago, back then I sound like I'm 52 years old, which I am, but getting older. It was all over the road is primarily what we did at the time, and it's still the largest piece of what we do, but it's now about 1,000 of the drivers. And the other 1,000 are in dedicated fleets or on-site spotting services, and really that's where Chris comes in. And Chris has been with us how many years now, Chris?
February 1st, it'll be 9 years.
9 years, yeah. So it's kind of an interesting story that I know his wife Morgan's out there. Kind of an interesting story on how you joined Hirschbach. Maybe I should have Morgan tell the story.
Yeah, she can come on up here and talk if she wants.
Morgan, you want to come up and tell the story? Come on, I'll give you the mic. You sure? We're here in East Dubuque where Morgan grew up.
Yeah.
And why don't you take the story from there?
Yeah, I don't have a cool story about getting into trucking like Dan does, hauling for Bird's Eye. But so I was finishing up my degree and working for my wife's dad, doing some construction, and we got a little slow in the winter, as a lot of construction companies do, and I was just going to take it easy and focus on my schooling, because it was very important at the time to me. And she's like, "No, you need to go get a job." I was like, "Okay." So we lived in East Dubuque, and this job popped up, and I applied for it. And,
Good job, Morgan.
Very entry level. I was customer service. I was scheduling appointments. I didn't know anything about trucking at all. I learned from Marge Hinkles and Heather Brothers how to schedule Mars and Smithfield appointments. That's what I started off doing, and it's crazy. I first walked in and started doing it, and I was like, "Holy shit, what did I get myself into?" And I mean, it's just a dispatch office is just crazy, and the operations, we were packed like sardines over in that building over there, and it was just crazy. It's
Still
very
cannot
fast
believe all
paced.
those people fit in that building
Yeah,
over there.
yeah, neither can I.
When I walk in there and just the mass amount of people, how many people were in that office?
Oh, well, again, we had, 400, we're a quarter of our size, but then we started to grow. I mean, during the first growth spurt, we started to really bust the walls, literally. And it was funny, we would, there were times where there was a contractor, Ostie, and we'd run out of room as we were growing, and, "Hey, Ostie, knock down this wall." And literally, I remember one time was at Annette, I think. She was in an office, and the walls started coming down around her while she was working, and we didn't quite let her know that was going to happen. So sometimes things move pretty quick around here, but those are great times and good memories. And as the business started to grow, and maybe I said we didn't do any dedicated, but we did these shuttles out of Monmouth up to East Dubuque, and I think you got pretty involved in those pretty early on, right, Chris?
Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my career, is those things. What do you think, Dan?
That was a very interesting project.
Yeah, you didn't know how many were going to come or when they were going to come, but if they didn't get there when they were supposed to, it was big issues. So it was interesting.
And Marlene at the time, who has worked with us for several years now, with Dan's team, specializing in managing working with Smithfield. But she was our customer at the time, and she was pretty tough, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. I was scared of her. Still am a little bit, but I definitely was before I met her. She's all caps emails all the time. I could never do anything right. Yeah, she knew how to put me in my place. That's for sure. So yeah, I started doing that. But after
That's why I hired her.
Yeah. I started doing that, and after a week or two, I could just once the initial shock of what was going on, I wore off a little bit. I was like, I really liked it, and I could just tell this is something that I liked, and started pushing my then boss at the time, Scott Harms. I wanted to do a little bit more, and I dispatched for a while, and then I did after hours, and at the time when I was doing after hours, that's where I learned everything. There was 500. We were about 500 trucks, and Saturdays from noon to 8. I was the only person in the building. I was safety, OS&D,
The only
maintenance,
person? Oh my God.
dispatch, planning, everything. I was the only person. So I learned how to do everything pretty quickly. So I did that for a while. Then I went and did some pricing and some sales. And then the dedicated division was kind of starting to grow a little bit. And, I think we were just bringing on like Michigan Water, I think. Smithfield was starting to grow. And then I kind of moved back in to help with that, grow that business unit.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, it started with remember Maine Water, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
Maine
Thanks
Water
for
was
bringing that up.
before Michigan Water, and then the Pizza Fleet. The Pizza
Yeah.
Fleet was always been the anchor.
Yep, pizza's been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just kept growing, and so today there's probably good 15 different fleets or so out there.
Yep.
And that's on more of the traditional sleeper truck, shorter haul regional dedicated, and spotting is probably more than that, maybe 15, 17 different spotting locations out there, Chris?
Yeah, we got a couple more coming in the pipeline in the next couple of weeks too.
Yeah, where are those?
We're starting one in Belvedere, Illinois for Miracle up there, and then we've got one coming up in Rhode Island for Cargill.
Yeah, nice. The one thing I really appreciate about both Dan and Chris is you can hear from their backgrounds. We have a saying, you need to know how the sausage is made. And in our business, being able to, this is very much an operational business, execution business. Working with drivers closely and customers and putting plans together and figuring out how to navigate the waters when you're overbooked or when you get a breakdown on a truck or OS&D issue, you name it. And certainly Dan and Chris really understand how the sausage is made, and that really is very valuable to them and their effectiveness in being able to lead their respective teams. So maybe before I go onto the other side of the table, Dan, how about a little personal information that maybe Hirschbach would like to hear about you? We got through the business part.
So we had week 1, a big Vikings fan over here. What'd you think of that
Yeah.
game yesterday there, Dan?
Looks like Aaron Rodgers has still got a lot of gas.
Yeah.
gas in the
And
tank.
Jordan Love might have put a little fire under his ass, I think.
Yeah, I think
What can I say?
Rodgers looked
say
pretty
ass.
good.
Okay.
Can you say ass?
My bad.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know what else
I
to
said
say.
shit.
No F.
Anything goes.
We're drawing the line at F-bombs, so.
All right. Well, Morgan better not come up to the mic then.
Well, just a little background. Grew up on a family farm in southern Minnesota. Was active in high school and went to college just up the road at UW-Platteville. And my wife-to-be, Barbara, was still had a year to go at University of Texas Arlington. So after college, I worked the summer and then moved down to Texas. And we lived down in Texas for a couple of years. We had our first 2 children down there in Fort Worth, Kyle and Lindsay, and enjoyed our time in Texas. Most of Barb's family is in Texas yet. So from there, did some other stuff, and then lived in Salt Lake City for a few years, which was very enjoyable. The mountains were beautiful. And our third child, Courtney, came along, and she was born. So they're now 34, 31, and 28. So they keep us busy. Just got news yesterday. Actually, I don't think I've told anyone this, but I'll probably get in trouble. But yesterday, Courtney's boyfriend drove down and
Oh, boy.
asked permission to propose. So,
Congratulations.
Did you say yes?
well, I made him sweat a little, Brad. I mean,
No way.
so, I mean, I was kind of laughing to myself. I was texting with a couple old friends. I said, "How'd you like to be Joe?" Coming down to have that conversation.
Brave guy. I tell you
Yeah,
what.
well, he did 2 tours in Iraq, Baghdad, and Mosul.
Wow.
So he's a great guy. He'd be a great addition to the family.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
congrats,
amazing.
Dan.
So did he propose yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
I hope
thought.
you haven't listened to this.
Oh, shit.
Well, I
Blame
mean,
is there.
I think she's put 2 and 2 together. So anyway, we'll have a wedding here.
That's great.
We also
That's
have a very, very special granddaughter. Her name's Azelle, and she stays with us, and she's in 7th grade. Also, we're going to be blessed with a grandson here on September 30th. Charles Daniel Wallace will be joining the clan on September 30th. They announced. So busy as ever. So always lot of stuff around family. So.
Well, congrats, Dan.
Yeah, congrats, Dan.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. What do you like to do when you're not working at Hirschbach and chasing around your family, Daniel?
It doesn't leave a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. Watch the Vikings.
Yeah,
Tilton
I
Watch.
follow football. I like probably football, little MMA, but like outdoors. We like the mountains. We usually get out to Colorado once or twice a year. So
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Chris, how about you? Can you give us a little personal information, a little background?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I got 2 little kids. I've got a son, Bo, he's 5, and I've got a little spitfire of a daughter who's 3.5, named Ray. So those 2 keep me on my toes, along with Morgan, who I'm happily married to.
Keeps you on your toes too, right?
Make sure I sneak the happily in there real quick on TV or on a podcast. Yeah, really like being outside. Obviously, definitely the family, and Hirschbach keeps me busy. But also, I like any sport. I like playing any sport that I'm good at. So I don't play golf. That's about it. But,
Yeah, he's terrible.
I'm really bad. At
I'm
golf.
bad.
Yeah.
Chris is really bad.
Didn't
Brad
you
likes
guys-
golf with me, so he's better than someone.
Didn't you guys take lessons or something
Yeah,
too
they
to get
didn't.
better? And
They didn't help me
work?
at all.
No.
Well, they helped me a little bit, but
Took like
still.
1 lesson.
Need more for sure. We did the golf for the golf outing, and we used like 4 of my shots, so that's improvement.
Wow.
Good.
Maybe I'm going the right direction.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, you're up.
All right.
What the heck do you do here at Hirschbach?
Yeah, please tell
Sometimes
us.
I wonder. Sometimes I wonder.
It changes so
it
often.
does.
Yeah.
Well, it's always evolving and changing. But I started off. It's going on 10 years now, which to anybody else, Hirschbach years are like dog years. So I've really been here for 70 years.
Yeah.
There's
Great.
so much stuff that happens in every year. It's crazy. I can't remember how many trucks we had, but I think it was in the 300s, 350. And I had previously, before I started at Hirschbach, I was working for HR with actually Joe Prince. So some of you know Joe Prince. So she was our VP of HR, and I worked for her. And I was leaving to come to Hirschbach, and she's like, "What the heck are you doing? That company is like leaving Sioux City. Do not go there. There's no one in the office." And so the place I went to for my interview was pretty sketch. It wasn't the building that you guys were in before when you guys lived in Sioux City. It was like a little trailer with like a ramp. It was very strange. And there's like 3 people working in this little trailer. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is my new place to work.
Sounds good.
Between me going to work there and my interview, they'd moved to a whole new building, which was now a strip mall. So that was a little strange. But I was like, what am I getting myself into? No trucking knowledge before I came. I did not even know. I hate to admit this make it public, but I'll put it out there. I did not even know that there was a bed in the truck when I started. That's how naive to trucking I was. So, but I learned a lot very quickly, and a lot of training. I feel like when you go into trucking, whatever part of trucking you go into, it just kind of sucks you in, and it becomes your life. And you love it or you hate it. And I think everybody that I know loves it, and it's just part of my life now. But I started 10 years ago as a recruiter, hiring drivers, and it was a lot of fun. I felt like it was a really important position because I would talk to people out there who had a job that didn't pay them, or people who didn't care about them. And I knew if we could get them over here, we had people who care about them, and they were making a lot more money here than they could somewhere else. And so it was making a big impact on their lives. So I felt like it was a really important position. And as we continued to grow it, worked with the recruiting team. We have amazing recruiters. We've got a lot of them now. So many I can't even keep track of how many there are because there's a lot. And Sioux City office has grown from about 5 people. Now I think there's about 40 people in that office. So including the Tyson Power only and the recruiting team. So that's kind of recruiting side of me. And then now I work with the HR and some of the wellness teams over here. So we're working on all the people side of everything. So whether it's talking to a driver when they stop in, or last week I was here with a couple drivers last week, a few nights, having dinner with them. But I learned so much every single time I talk to our drivers or our staff. So I love the people side of it.
Don't you have something to share with the group?
Yeah, I was going to go there.
What's
What's going on? What's going on?
I heard something, Brad. I mean,
What'd you hear?
the one finger looks like it's gonna.
Well, I'll tell-
Yeah,
I tell you,
Can we zoom in on that, baby? You probably don't even need to use the zoom.
Oh,
The-
stop.
the light-
Jesus.
The light was bouncing off
I think my
and blinding me.
sunglasses,
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Good
We
job.
did good, but it was 10 years worth of waiting. So
So
What is it, like-
congratulations.
Yeah, it's like
Is it
20
a
carats.
carrot per
or-
year, or what is it?
It's like 20 carats, Chris. Hey, Morgan, you're gonna want to check this out.
She can,
Is
I
it
think you
barely-
could upgrade a little.
she can see it just fine.
No.
So
Original,
Jesse,
that means so much to us.
Just had her birthday and got a
I
nice
did.
nice birthday surprise, huh?
I did, yeah.
Was it a surprise?
It was definitely a surprise, only because I didn't think he could pull anything off like that without help of like Sarah or somebody. So yeah, I was very shocked, and if you saw the picture of my face, you could tell I was shocked. But it was partly because I thought he was having a heart attack and he was dropping down. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? But he was proposing, so then there was the different shocked face. So yes, but yeah, it was amazing, and he's
Great
one
guy.
parent per year.
Yeah, he's great guy. You know, like we do at Hirschbach, you know, it's very much a family, and Rose is his name, and Rose been a part of our family. We've gotten to know him quite well over the years, and he does some work in the IT. He's got a business that does like cameras and IT work, and he's done some work for us with our IT staff, and he's also got a construction business as well. And so this cool set that we're sitting at, Ro and his team put this together, I understand, in like, I don't know, in a matter of minutes or something. I heard it was incredible how fast they put this together.
Well, they probably didn't tell you. I made him cut it down 3 different times because it was too large. I think, Scott, you were here. Yeah, the first time they had it over there, I'm like, that is no way it's going to fit over there. Like, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know, cut a foot off here, cut a foot off there. They put it back together. Nope, redo it again, put it back together.
No
So,
measuring twice.
I mean,
No.
they measured. They're just not the right measurements. So
Well, it turned out great. You
Yeah.
know,
It really did.
so we were talking about making the sausage earlier.
have you
and,
been over there to see that shop? They did the shop too, the same day, the same time.
Scott, what'd you score out of there, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened? What'd you get?
A whole
You
new front counter.
you
so
got
when
new
you walk
counters over
in,
there?
It doesn't go back anymore. It's just when
Wow.
you walk in, the counter's right there.
All right, I'll have to go check those
They
out.
Yeah.
threw that up really quick too, and then I mean, they were working up until 1 minute before we left to fly out. So it was like, oh, we got to go. Yeah, it's the end. Yeah.
Well, what else can you tell us about you, Jesse?
I'm a Hirschbach for life. I love it here. I will never leave. And my kids, I've got 2 amazing kids. My daughter is 16. She is a junior in high school, which is crazy to think. I think the last year of high school kind of just blurred, and then they're going off to the next grade. So she's a junior, which is interesting. And then my son
And driving.
And
Yeah.
Does she drive like you or Ro?
nobody drives like Ro. They're not allowed to. Anybody who's seen him drive understands that. No, she doesn't have her license yet because we have to make an appointment, and conveniently the appointments can't get until November, so we've got a few more safe months.
Oh,
Delaying.
good.
Then my son is he's 19. He goes to school over here at University of Dubuque, and he loves it here. So that's my life.
That's
We
it,
like
huh?
traveling. We love Colorado. We went there a few weeks ago, which is where I got this pretty rock from. But it's gorgeous. It's so pretty out there. That's our new favorite place.
And a little puppy.
We do have a little puppy.
Yep.
Yes, Cujito. Everyone here knows him too. So.
We might have to open a terminal in Colorado one of these
I would
days.
agree.
Hey,
Yeah,
would you
let's
love
do that.
that? Anybody else think that's a great idea?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, all hands.
It's beautiful out there.
It's a great idea.
Speaking of beautiful,
Oh, nice
segue. Very good. Very
Good
good.
point for
Yes,
that one.
Nice
yes.
work.
thanks.
Were you setting that
A
up?
little, yeah.
That was good.
So, Jelaine,
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. So, Brad and I met in college. It was actually a pretty an interesting way to meet somebody as well. I was in a statistics class, which did not go well for me, and dropped out of stats, and didn't know what I was going to do afterwards, and went to a party, and turns out Brad was actually in the same statistics class, and he was front and center, right in the front row, very focused, and I was not. I was in the back, kind of hanging out, chit-chatting a little bit, and
a lot of it.
kind of distracting things a little bit. So he offered to tutor me, and I declined that, but I was done. But anyways, he walked me back to my dorm. It was 5 flights of stairs up to this dorm, and very, very polite, and didn't try to
No moves?
do a first kiss that first night.
You didn't have any moves.
Yeah. Maybe he was exhausted from the 5 flights.
No elevator?
No elevator, no way. No, but I told my roommate, I met the man I'm going to marry. So
Aw.
yeah, that was kind of he didn't catch on to the whole plan yet. That took several extra months, but he caught on eventually. Yeah. So he was in ROTC. I didn't see how that was going to impact me. Didn't understand that meant we would be probably overseas somewhere, and the Gulf War was just kind of getting really tense, and he was a year ahead, so he was totally planning on heading to the Middle East, and pretty darn excited about it. So he was.
Well, I don't know if excited's the word.
Well,
I was,
Ready?
anticipating using your skills to accomplish the mission. How's that?
I was going through training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and Desert Shield was going on where the Air Force was bombing the Iraqis. And I was assigned to a unit that was in Germany that was supposed to go over to the Gulf. And up until the point I arrived in Germany, that's what I thought was going on. And so they sort of hurried me through our training and scared the daylights out of us, talking about chemical munitions, biological munitions. You know, being a combat engineer, you'd have to clear they got tanks and mines that are moving through the sand, and you can't detect metal. It was all sorts of crazy stuff. So I honestly, and so the combat engineer has the highest mortality rate on the battlefield, and so that was kind of a scary time. Anyway, I didn't end up going there, and we ended up living in Germany for a few years. It was a great experience.
Yeah, so thank you for everyone who did go through that. They didn't exactly tell us the day that they were going to do the invasion, but they did it 3 weeks before Brad arrived, and so they grabbed another second lieutenant, and they accomplished the mission very effectively, and then yeah, we were over in Germany shutting down 3 different bases because everything was done, right? We didn't need that much of our military anymore. So that was during the drawdown times. And that's when Brad really learned, the heavy equipment side. In fact, we tell the story about he was in charge of a platoon that had, I don't know how many different pieces of equipment. And as an officer, he was not allowed to get behind the wheel of these, and he had a driver. And as soon as he was away from the hierarchy, he was like, okay, show me how to do this. Okay, show me how to do that. And he learned how to operate every single piece of equipment. He might have sunk 1 or 2.
Just one.
Just
Only
one.
One
I
Humvee.
think it was,
We were doing a training exercise, and the training exercise was over, and so it was time to blow off some steam. And so I saw this, it looked like a pretty good-sized puddle. Turned out to be a little deeper, had to swim out of it. And so then they had to come over with a wrecker and pull the Humvee out of there, and they got a good kick out of that. That was fun. But if you didn't hear on Friday, my first experience, really the trucking came from the Army a bit. One of the assignments I had was a lot of earth-moving equipment, bulldozers, graders, scrapers, all that sort of stuff, and we did some
Those
different.
big boy toys.
Yeah, those were fun. The things, yeah. But we had our own semi-trailers and drop deck low boys for hauling the equipment around. And so I had a few different projects around Germany, and we would load up our equipment and get a convoy number and head across the Autobahn, and we'd go to some base and have some sort of project, like build a softball field, baseball field complex, or something like that. And we knew the base was going to close when we got sent there to go fix it up before we can give it back to the Germans. So, which was kind of crazy.
They got some good stuff out of the deal. Yeah.
But the trucking, that's where the trucking started from, was kind of moving that equipment around. I always enjoyed operating the equipment and so forth.
And actually became the battalion maintenance officer
Yeah.
towards the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us?
Well, I did get through my stats class as in my master's degree later on. So a couple years later, I could handle statistics again, and things made a little bit more sense with a little bit of help. He might have helped me get through that.
Finally
tutoring.
took you
Yeah,
up on
some
the tutoring.
tutoring. Yes, exactly. We had, well, you think about our time in Germany. So Brad picked up this car. It was a 1979 Mercedes. this big, huge boat of a car, and had to learn how to do a stick shift, and of course on the fly, because that's how we do things. And so we were literally driving up to Denmark to get married so I could get an ID card so I could get on the base. And I learned how to drive a stick shift on our way up to get married, up to Denmark, 14-hour drive. And he promptly, he got me into fourth gear, and then he fell asleep. He just had so much trust.
Just don't stop.
You just don't stop. Don't slow down. Just keep going. You're on the Autobahn. There should be no reason to slow down. Just keep going. So that was our start. We accidentally got married on Halloween. We didn't know it was Halloween. In Denmark, it wasn't Halloween. So my parents were horrified, but not horrified that we got married, but horrified that we got married on Halloween.
I think I have that picture too.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty sure I do.
Yeah, let's not
I'm
go
sure
there.
she can. She can.
Are you
She
wearing
can pull
Christmas
it up.
sweaters?
We were in very fashionable sweaters with. I think mine had a jumping horse, and Brad's had some. Yeah, it was the 90s, early 90s.
I know,
Yeah.
We're not sure, we actually got married twice, because we're not sure that first one in Denmark was legitimate
The
or not.
governor was gone, and the lieutenant governor was gone. So some secretary did the ceremony, but
And I think she grabbed like a janitor or something. as a
yeah,
witness.
we had to have a witness. Yeah, we might have been a little bit delayed because I had to have a bouquet, so we had to like run through this farmer's market and grab a bouquet of flowers to make it somewhat official as we did our vows. So those stuck anyways.
So
And then
20 Go ahead.
then we got married for the real wedding, the official wedding, the next summer. So we always kind of look at each other like, what number are we on? Because this next one will be, we just celebrated 28 for the July wedding, but 29 in October.
And if you don't know, Jelane's an artist, and our Christmas card every year, Jelaine does a painting that we put on our Christmas card.
Yeah. I've had a lot of fun with the. I've gotten to know the truck in a different sort of way with different angles. Don't look at it too closely. I'm not sure how correct it is, but those have been fun. Oh, geez, yes, yep. Nice
That's it.
job. Yeah.
Like we said, Jesse has
Yep.
pictures of everything.
That sweater is
Including
awesome.
our-
I don't know if you can zoom in on that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute.
I had big hair. That was a lot of ratting. That was a lot of.
I
Yeah.
can't believe I had that much hair at that time. Usually,
I know, and that was
usually,
military.
usually
Yeah,
I
it was
bald.
military. Yeah. He judged a good haircut by how long he could go in between haircuts. So when you can see the scalp all the way around, that was a good haircut. It was yeah, put that hat back on. But anyways, with our Christmas card or our holiday card, usually we have several things to doing with the military every year. We do Haul the Wall. We've done that a few years, and we've also done Wreaths Across America every year. And Wreaths Across America is a great program where they're trying to put a wreath on every veteran's grave. And I think they're up to like 2.5 million or something like that. And so we do a lottery system for drivers who are veterans.
Which is still happening yet, by the way, this year. So we're still working
Okay.
on the details.
Yeah.
There's going to be some changes, but
Because
that
of
program's
COVID.
for sure going to happen.
Right,
Yep.
right, good. So we usually get some good pictures from drivers, and one of my favorites was from Arlington National Cemetery, and that's one of my favorite paintings. That we have all the originals. I think here in East Dubuque, but I think we make prints of each one and have those at each one of the terminals around, so you can see kind of the history and the evolution, and some fun times. I will say how we got into graffiti is kind of an interesting start. We actually moved into a building in Dubuque, on Kerper, and we had a big customer coming. We had Cargill, and we needed to make the place, clean it up. It was like cleaning for company, like company coming. We gotta get this thing going, and literally new carpet was being laid in the hallway and up the stairs, and Brad's like, that's great, but it's this really kind of dark, dingy hallway and staircase. There needs to be something at the top of the stairs. And he had the idea of, you need to do a painting really fast. and so I was up until 10:30 that night, and our H is kind of, H is for home, it's for heart, it's for Hirschbach, and it's kind of our symbol that brings us together. Jesse has the necklace that we had made last year, but the H is very specific on the angles, and I kept on sending pictures to Brad, and he's like, nope, that's not the right angle, do it again.
So you kept repainting
I
over
kept
the
on
thing.
repainting over this thing. At 10:30 at night, I finally got it down, and the next morning, Brad was literally hanging the painting wet.
It was still wet, yeah.
Yeah, it was still wet. There's probably marks on the wall right now, but it became kind of our signature, and that kind of spun off into some graffiti, and then we met some graffiti artists, and yeah, rest is history.
Yeah. So, yeah, at any one of our terminals, any one of our facilities, you'll see one of those Hirschbach H paintings that Jelaine talked about, the first one, but now there's probably 10 or 12 of them out there or something like that. So she keeps cranking them out every time we've got a new place to put them up in.
In fact, I did the latest one. I actually did in this terminal, and some drivers were, watching the progress, which is always a little stage fright, but it came out pretty good.
I
So
think
yeah,
it looks good.
yeah. So
Looks great.
that one's up here on the big orange wall.
So we're also going through a big adjustment. We're now empty nesters, which really makes me feel old, but I don't know if it's officially empty nesting or not. The kids are off at school, so
Yeah. Our fingers are crossed now.
we hope they don't come back.
Yeah, that they stay out there.
Yes. That is. Yeah, so far so good. 2 started classes today, and yeah, some good adrenaline to start off, so that's good. Well, and all 3 girls actually were working at Hirschbach. COVID happened, March shut down the world, and school, all the schools shut down. So the girls came back in mid-March. Annika, our youngest, her high school, shut down classes in person, so everybody had some extra time, and that wasn't just going to fly, that they were just going to hang out and watch Netflix. So they all started working at Hirschbach and started to learn a little bit more of the details. I will say about Driscoll's, Lauren learned a lot about Driscoll's. A very, very good customer. We just got a nice award from them as Carrier of the Year, right?
No,
Or-
no.
You're a
Sorry.
little ahead of yourself.
Sorry.
Little
Carrier
ahead.
So
supporter?
far, year to date.
Year to date. Okay.
Year to
The
date,
year's not over.
we're their number one ranked carrier, as we were in August. I think what you're referring to is they have 2 programs. It's called a winter program and summer program. Summer program is predominantly based out of California. The winter program is predominantly based out of Mexico, and the majority of the product comes up through Laredo, some through McAllen, but the majority comes up through Laredo. As you truckers out there know, Texas is big for us, so we were just recently awarded about 1,500 loads for the winter program, about 50 loads a week, and it's very good business, so it's we're lucky to have it.
Was that freight out of Dan? Laredo
Laredo and McAllen.
Yeah, some good miles out of there.
Yeah, so it's all got good miles. I mean, even up to Dallas, Fort Worth, it's 500. But the business split is a little different this year. We kind of expanded our horizons a little bit. About a third of the business does stay within Texas. About a third of the business comes right up the gut. We get all of the Hy-Vee loads. All of the Hy-Vee loads go to Sheridan and Cherokee, and then also we get a mix of orders that come to like Costco, Morris, Illinois, Walmart, Sterling, Walmart, Mankato. That's about a third of the business, and then about a third of the business moves out of Texas over into the Georgia, Florida, and the Florida piece is really interesting because we get loads. So if you're a driver, think about it like this: you get a nice load out of Sioux Falls to Laredo, and then from Laredo all the way over to Dover, and then we get loads straight out of Dover coming back up. So Dover's kind of a mixing center for them. So they got the strawberries and the raspberries primarily come out of Mexico during the winter program, and then the blueberries are raised in Florida. So that's kind of their mixing center. So it's a very interesting business, obviously very service sensitive. So keeps us on our toes.
You know, talking about the business, you know, we've been talking about ourselves a little bit, and Driver Appreciation Week. You know, it's an interesting time in the business right now. We're in the middle of obviously still going through COVID, and you know, it's anyone's guess obviously as to how that's all going to play itself out here over time. You know, with the vaccine coming, hopefully, and so forth. But certainly, still having a huge impact on all of us. And you know, just to go back a little bit, you know, in March, obviously, you know, people were raiding the store shelves and stocking up, and that was really good for business in March. And then April and May were kind of a reversal of that, particularly as a lot of our meat shippers started to have, you know, positive COVID cases in their plants, and in a lot of cases, plants shutting down, and that was quite a challenging time, certainly for all of us. But since then, you know, June, July, August, and now September, momentum, I should say, demand for our services has really increased, really each and every one of those months. And as we sit here in September, we would maybe say on a scale of 1 to 10 that, I don't know, Chris, Dan, what do you guys think? Scale of 1 to 10, demand for our services right now.
What do you think, Daniel?
Well, I mean, the over-the-road piece is a little more transactional than the dedicated, but it's very strong. I mean, it's, you know, right now, if you saw me earlier, I was wiping the sweat off my forehead here. We're about 50 loads over. So anybody out there with hours coming to the Midwest, come on. We got freight. But no, the freight is very strong, Brad, and the opportunities that are being presented to us is really, you know, kind of astounding. I mean, earlier I shared, you know, with the people and everyone that, you know, been in the business a long time, and I mean, I'm seeing stuff right now I've never seen before. You know, I think that, quite frankly, I think the market's about ready to explode. There's just so many opportunities. It's unbelievable, and you know, there's a number of things. COVID obviously is playing a factor, but markets are very strong. Market demand, I guess, to answer your question, you know, I'd put on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put demand pretty darn close to 10.
Yeah, really good way. There's lots of ways to look at it. You know, you can read a bunch of different articles, or, you know, different people saying different things. But an internal way we've been tracking it lately is just looking at how many loads we reject. So, you know, we track loads that are tendered to us from customers, and our rejection rate, it's been climbing for the past probably month and a half, but it's higher than what it was back in Q4 of 2018, which is, in the past 5 years, that's probably when business has been the tightest and strongest for our service, when demand's been the highest. So the more we reject, that means the better quality loads, and, you know, more appealing to drivers. That's the better freight for you guys. So that's a really good sign for us, and it shows us where the market's at right now for sure.
Yeah, I know our utilization has really gone up. Big miles out there on a weekly basis. I know on the over-the-road side, Dan, I mean, we're pushing, 2,500 miles a week on average, including people taking time off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're 2,450 people taking time off. You know, last week with Labor Day, it gets a little wonky, but, you know, if we had had a full week, I think we would have got up close to 2,700, Brad. We ran at 550 a day on 4 days. So if you extrapolate that over 5 days, it's 2,750. So
Wow.
we're definitely
Big week.
running strong on the over the road, and we're able in this market to get, you know, pretty load selective, which helps and we've got some stuff that we're just waiting to get final awards on that the drivers are going to love. Just absolutely going to eat it up. So working a lot of different angles right now, but there's a lot of demand for our services, and that really is a reflection on our drivers and the service we provide. And we're able to demand a pretty strong dollar right now in the market. So
Well, and we're kind of, and with that and feeling that, we went ahead, and I know we've talked recently about, Dan, you and I spent some time probably about a week ago doing a similar type of podcast, but we went ahead and put our money where our mouth is, and we've got a pretty huge increase, pay increase for our operators.
yeah, we actually spent the money before we got it, but just a minor technicality. But no, we need to go out. We need to get the rate increases. We did pretty much an across the board pay increase on the over the road drivers. I'd be remiss not to say there's the 101 drivers, company drivers, and the Tyson Power only drivers. We'll have a revised pay schedule out to you within a week to 10 days. We're going to get that done. But no, I mean we've got to pay our operators, and we're gonna have to do it. And by doing so, we're gonna have to get rate increases. So that's the way the business works. So we're going to be very active. There's a lot of different ways to get net rate increases, but we'll get them, and we'll take care of our operators, and we'll be in good shape.
So last week, Dan, I think we paid out the first weekly bonus last week. Is that correct on the new plan?
Yes, yeah. So it's rounding a little bit and making adjustments for what they would have received if they were on their old plan. Pretty much the consensus would be about an additional $150 a week. That's on the weekly. And then you roll that up with what we're going to do on the monthly, and it gets to be, pretty sizable monthly, 12 to $1,600. The interesting part, if for all of you, if you looked at the schedule, it's very much driven by, well, obviously it's driven by being safe and delivering freight on time and doing all the right things. But after that, the core essence of the program is miles. And with our miles upticking, you guys are going to see a pretty sizable uptick in your paychecks. Basically, we rolled out a 10-cent a mile. On the weekly, it's 10 cents a mile. Don't hit anything. Don't get any CSA points, anything like that. Essentially, you're going to get 10 cents a mile. So if you're out there running 2,700 miles, that's $270 a week. So that adds up pretty fast. So very optimistic on that. We're being very selective on our length of haul and making sure we can turn these trucks. So.
Hey, Dan, why don't you, the weekly is in place. We're transitioning from a quarterly bonus into a monthly bonus. Do you want to talk through a little bit that transition, Dano?
Yeah, sure. We've had a quarterly bonus program in place for several years, and we'll be kind of wrapping that up. But we are going to be in a bit of a transition for just a short period of time here. So the intent, and I got some real dirty looks this morning when I met with payroll and safety, but the intent is any of the drivers that switched over from the prior pay program, the quarterly bonus program, to the new pay program, which is roughly, I believe, 825 drivers switched, roughly.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our best to get the Q3 prorated. It'll be prorated to, I believe, 9/6. The new program started 9/7, so we'll get it prorated, and our intent is to get it paid out this week. It's going to be a bit of a stretch, but we hope to get that done. For the drivers that are on their current pay programs, we will be paying out the balance of the quarterlies at the end of the quarter like it's normally. But we want to get everyone that transferred, the 825 drivers that transferred. We want to get the old program settled up and move forward. So that should make a lot of drivers happy out there.
Good. And Chris, dedicated side, got some changes, some interesting positive changes going on there as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, we rolled out the over-the-road pay increase probably a month ago now. We talked about dedicated doing something. We were still crossing some T's and dotting some I's, but we really, we on the dedicated side, we're locked into longer contracts. We can't go out and get the rate increases the way that over the road can in the open market. So, we had to take a little bit of a different approach. And we also kind of wanted to balance, we've heard, you want to balance, rewarding drivers for how long they've been here, rewarding safe drivers, rewarding drivers that deliver freight on time, as well as running as many miles as possible. So we've been talking about this, and I think we finally came up with a program that at least touches all four of those categories. And we rolled out a tenure-based incentive. So the longer that you've been here, the more just giving an example, once you're here for 6 months, you get 3 cents a mile. Once you're here for a year, you get 5 cents a mile. So that all you have to do is run those miles safely and on time, no CSA points, and you get paid that out every month. And the other thing that we had to try to think about this when we rolled it out is how do we help the pipeline? Talking which I've got the recruiting queen over here. We wanted something that would help attract new drivers as well. So, essentially you'll get a new driver or a driver that's been here a short time. I mean, you essentially get 3 pay raises in your first year.
And that's huge for the drivers. I think they love the tenure-based raises. So I think that was a great change for them too. But that's been, they're very receptive. They like, the longer they're here, the more money that they'll make. And so it was a good change.
Yeah, for sure. It took us a while to finally come to something we all agreed on, but I think so far this has been proven to be pretty the right one so far. So what this will do is this will replace our quarterly bonus, and it pays out the same schedule as over the road every 4. So there's 13 4-week periods throughout the year. It's your choice to opt into it for like 95% of the drivers or so. That's a big positive increase to your paycheck. There's a few, mainly one fleet, the pizza fleet, that we're working on something else. That's the main one. It doesn't quite make as much sense for. So again, that's just to wrap up. That's a big change that we rolled out.
Well, I think on both sides you can see we've got some nice improvements. We want to make sure that our operators are out there being compensated for the tough jobs that you guys do out there. And again, we appreciate all the hard work, and we're really pleased to be able to offer these new incentives and pay increases to all of you. Chris, I believe you've got some openings as well.
Yeah, I just want to say one other thing about the pay raise. So, we've talked for probably, I think it kind of started when we started doing the manual loaded calls, and we had this huge issue with cargo claims, and we were losing a ton of money with cargo claims. And we talked about taking it out of one bucket and then putting into another. So as we get better with cargo claims or accidents or anything like that, we want to take it out of that bucket and give it to you. So these types of pay changes or raises or more money to your bottom line, right into your pocket, those will come as we're able to get as a safer organization and to reduce accidents, reduce cargo claims and stuff like that. So this is, to me, I kind of view this as an evolution. This is kind of step one to get drivers up to a comp level that we feel like they deserve. And there's more coming as we get better going throughout that.
Yeah, and we've got our eyes set on triple digits, you know, or I should say 6 figures is what we'd like to get our operators up to. That's going to take, as Chris said, a collective effort on all of our parts. If you've got to look at if you're spending money, and most of what Hirschbach spends money on, our operators really are spending in some way, shape, or form. And we have to make sure that we are spending as little as we possibly can, and not having unnecessary expenses, as Chris mentioned, whether that be in, bumping into a trailer in a close quarter situation, take your extra time, get out, assess the situation. You've got a light on your truck, some sort of maintenance light or something like that, or some sort of noise that you're hearing. Making sure that the equipment's getting the necessary attention and we don't have unnecessary expense that we're providing, that we're paying to someone else when we can have that come to you. And that's really our thought and our philosophy here is to make sure we're doing that. And so minimize the expenses and make sure we're delivering the freight on time. And, I just read an article this morning. Walmart is increasing their on-time percentages, and they have a program they call OTIF, I think, on time and in full. And what they do is if the product isn't on time and they didn't get what they ordered, they'll charge a penalty of 3% of the cost of the product to the customer from the vendor that they're buying the product from. And so they've had this program in place for a while, but they're increasing the percent to 98%. If the vendor is not providing 98%, they'll receive a 3% haircut on the price that they're charging Walmart. So the on-time service game is just critical. Dan, it looks like you want to jump in.
Well, it's amazing you brought up Walmart. Last week, because of our service levels with Walmart, they opened up their entire network to us to rebid any lane, dry or refrigerated, and just publish backup rates, no commitment. And it's all because of our service levels. Without the service levels, you don't get those kind of invitations.
And with the service levels, we get more business, we get higher rates, and that's the other way that we can increase your compensation.
Absolutely.
So, talking about the business, the miles are really strong. We've got high demand out there, and we're looking to fill up some trucks. And we've got some really good business out there, and maybe I'd like to talk about, we've got a referral program. Right, Jess? You want to talk about our driver referral program?
Yeah, for those that are here, it's on the wall right over here. We changed it a little bit. The hardest part of finding a referral is finding someone who's qualified to drive for Hirschbach with our criteria, and it's the people that you would want to drive in the truck next to you representing Hirschbach. So what we've done is we just made it super simple, very easy. It's a $1,200 referral. If you send us a driver and they end up getting hired, the week after they're in orientation, you get $1,200. And so you would just basically collect leads, hand them off to your recruiter, and then from there they would call and talk to the driver, touch base, get them qualified, and get them here for you. So we encourage you still to stay in contact with the leads that you're sending in. Sometimes having a driver tell them the same thing that a recruiter might tell them, they tend to believe the driver over the recruiter sometimes. So it definitely helps. But $1,200 per hire.
So just a one and done. As Jesse said, all they got to do is complete orientation, and you get paid your $1,200. Prior to that, I think we had some sort of strings attached where you get a chunk overtime, another chunk later, right?
So much after they complete orientation, then 30 days, and then a 60-day mark. So it took 60 days to receive your full payment, which was a little bit more. But again, we just said $1,200 every hire. Just keep them coming.
Okay. And on both sides of the business, both the over-the-road and dedicated side, we're looking for some good operators, right, guys?
For sure.
Yeah. I'd like to pitch we discussed it in our last podcast, but we are opening up a high-value cargo division. that we're getting up off the ground, and we'll be putting out some, I believe Jesse and Bianca are working with a gentleman by the name of Mike Smith, who's heading it up, to develop some online training to get qualified to be able to haul high value. A lot of opportunities there, so if you're interested or know of someone that's interested, please refer them to your favorite recruiter.
Anything to add to that, Chris?
No, we've got openings across the country. You know, Brad, you and I shot a video last week, just kind of explaining them. They really haven't changed since then. What I think it's a really slick feature. It's right on the app. It's on the main page of the app. You just click a button, and it shows you operating area, which ones are open. It has you just click the button and it calls a dispatcher and account manager that can answer any questions. But you know, Smithfield Midwest fleet's growing. Looking for drivers on our Purdue fleet running out of Kentucky and Tennessee. That Smithfield Midwest will kind of run any state that touches Iowa. Is kind of the way I like to explain that one. And we've got Amic Foods run out of Maryland back to Minnesota. We need a few trucks for that. Some fewer here or there, the rest of our fleets. But the best way is we keep it up to date on a daily basis. The best way to see our openings and to get any questions answered is right on the app. And even if you don't live in the area, you might know someone who does, or you might want to move there eventually, or maybe something will make sense. So any interest there at all, just give us a call.
Great. Well, I know we've been going here for a while.
Not bad for not really having a plan of what we're going to do.
I was like, gosh, what are we going to talk about 2 hours later?
So we'll go ahead and wrap things up, and maybe I guess Jesse, any parting comments?
I wanted to talk, maybe we'll save it for tomorrow, but go over kind of the best of the best. And so for all of you who are receiving the best of the best awards for last year, you'll be receiving your box and your kit starting today and tomorrow. So they're all in the mail. You'll receive those, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow.
Yeah, the best of the best. Great program. Congratulations to all of you award winners. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the best of the best program, you're newer to the Hirschbach and so forth, we're going to spend some time tomorrow talking about that program in some detail and how you can qualify and earn those awards. It's a great program, and we usually have a blowout banquet every year, which is really a lot of fun. I miss that we can't do it this year due to COVID, but I look forward to hopefully next year having an extra big blowout next year.
Yeah, bigger and better.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
Two wrapped in one.
Yeah.
Wrapped up in one.
Just one other thing for so definitely on the best of the best. But for our drivers out there that may not be able to get to one of the terminals or dedicated sites, there are a number of our customers that are providing various meals and stuff on site. So be on the lookout for that information. I just got a text from one of our senior drivers, and she just said she had a great experience at one of our customers. So it's good to know that our customers are supporting the drivers also.
absolutely. Chris, any thoughts?
Yeah, just want to wrap up. I would say, when you think about 2020, there's a lot of words that come to mind when you want to describe it, but uncertainty is probably near the top of the list for me. And we've dealt with a lot of situations this year that none of us have ever had to deal with. And we really appreciate you guys out there on the road trusting us. Every decision we make is we're trying to do the right thing for everyone. So we appreciate you guys riding this wave out with us, and just trusting us during these uncertain times. So thank you.
Well, and I'd like to have a big shout out to the drivers' families for their tremendous support for all that the drivers do out there. COVID especially, but really all the time. I mean, the amount of sacrifice that the drivers go through, and as well as the families. And I know the families are going through kind of an extra stressful time with possibly kids not being able to go to school and more involvement in the education. So shout out to all those spouses who are helping out, keeping everything safe and smooth at home.
For sure.
And just to wrap things up, again, thanks to all of our amazing operators here at Hirschbach, our drivers. We are very, very proud of all of you and appreciate everything that you do. You know, Chris mentioned uncertain. I don't have a crystal ball, but, you know, being around for whatever, 52 and a half years or so, you start to, you know, maybe see a pattern of things and so forth. And one of the things that I've learned over life is, you know, things are generally never as bad or as good as they seem, or, you know, I mean, there's, for sure, there's, you know, things are gonna, as bad as they seem, you know, they will improve. This too will pass. And I am extremely, extremely optimistic about 2021. You know, the way the business is shaping up from a demand standpoint, we've got lots of opportunities, and looking back in the past, we've had two real exciting spurts over the last several years. One was basically 14 and 15, and the other one was 17 and 18. And I could feel in my gut that we're setting ourselves up for another similar type of exciting time period here at Hirschbach, starting now, really, and going into 2021. So hang on for the ride. I think there's going to be a lot of tremendous opportunities for all of us here at Hirschbach. And again, thanks to all of you for everything you do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye, guys.